Welcome back, agents, to another episode of Prime Tips. Hey, this time around, we're talking about something new. If you're a lone wolf agent, you may not have seen this. If you don't talk on Telegram or Discord or something like that, you may not have heard about this. But something big has been happening with the 10th anniversary, the appearance of the Red Faction, or the Machina, as it's probably going to be called. So we're going to talk about Red Faction and Machina. They've been around for about a week, and show you some of the things that we have observed about them. So right now, they seem to be only infecting or taking over neutral or unclaimed portals. So they will not take over or infect any portals that you own. As for the name Machina, that name, somebody discovered it in the code for the scanner, so they were figuring that's where the name came from. Machina itself is a term that relates to something that's machine or machinery or machine intelligence. So it could be an AI of some sort, shapers, we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know. So a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about today is going to be things that we're just taking guesses at, and a few things that we just really do know. So when did they show up? Well, they started showing up soon after the Enlightened won the Epiphany Dawn anomaly in Los Angeles on 11/12/22. So we didn't see it right away because they're very hard to spot. Matter of fact, at the first, you couldn't really see them with regular intel, but if you came across one in the scanner, you could definitely tell it was there. And we'll take some looks at some pictures of things. They're red. They look different. But what are they? Well, and that's the big question right now at this point. What do they signify? Who is it? What's it doing? It could be related to Dark XM. That's a good guess right now. Could be something to do with the Shapers coming back or coming through. Could be something to do with the lore and the collapsed power cube. There's all kinds of questions that we're trying to figure out what's going on from the things that we observe from these cubes. So, when they first started, you really couldn't see them unless you saw them on the scanner. Now, they did release a new link to a new type of intel, Intel X ingress.com, and they let that information out rather quickly. And at that one, you were able to see the links and the portals on the screen. With the regular intel, you might have been able to recognize just the links, but it was strange because it kind of looked like it was a link for a neutral. And then in many respects, they do look like a neutral. They may have a neutral color on the map. Now the stock intel and ITC are showing it if you have those things updated. So you can kind of see what's going on. If you look at one of the portals, when you look at the portal view, the owner shows up as unknown. And we don't really know who unknown is right now. It's still unknown. We have found out that unknown can be messaged in chat and other places. It doesn't really respond, except it does give back a reply that seems to be there for a short while and disappears. So that reply it looks like just a code or something that's weird. It comes back as ZDF ASDF AS DF ADSF. Looking, I don't see anything along those lines of what that is, that entire term. Again, we might think it might be a code or something that needs to be decoded. Now, if you truncate that a little bit and they go to the ASD FASDF ASDF, throw off the ZDF at the beginning of it, that does show up in a couple places. One definition for that term is a secret code not yet decrypted. That makes sense. We don't know what it is. We haven't decrypted it. Another definition is an expression of anxiety or stress represented by tapping your fingers rhythmically against a solid surface, or commonly used when somebody has no response or doesn't want to say anything. That also might be true, being as unknown just doesn't want to talk to us. It could just be synchronous with keyboard mashing. That just happened to be whatever you hit. But it always comes back with that string of letters. And the strange thing is that that string will kind of disappear. Now, the portals themselves show up as enemy portals for both the Enlightened and the Resistance agents. So any attempts to charge, upgrade, mod, those type of things, it's going to fail because it indicates it's an enemy portal. So you can't do those kind of things with it. As for how do they determine where to show up? Again, that's still part of a mystery. The one thing we are seeing is that they tend to pick areas that have a good number of neutral or unclaimed portals. Now, it doesn't always have to be that way, but a lot of them do that. Maybe areas that have a little bit of MU because of the population in that area. But there are some places where there's just the one-off, one by itself or two by itself. So there's no real hard, fast rules. As for the portals themselves, we have seen portals anywhere from level 1 all the way up to level 8. The level 8s are kind of rare. We'll see why. And if you look at the example that I have over here, it's a level 1 portal. All the level portals will have 8 resonators, unless somebody's come by and attacked it. And all 8 of those resonators will be of the same level. So if it's a level 2 Machina portal, it's going to have 8 level 2 resonators on that portal. The charge is something that we're very curious about. We've seen these things with charges anywhere from 5% up to 25%. Now, on the low end, if it gets down to like a 5% charge, that usually indicates that that particular Machina portal is decaying, and probably within 24 hours it's going to be gone. That's a kind of a recent development at this time. On the high end, portals get up to 20, 25%, and when we see them in that area, they seem to have a good chance to send out links, and it will link to other unclaimed portals, as we'll see in maps and things, or to level up. And strangely enough, when they do that, they don't seem to drop down a percentage. They seem to stay where they're at or get a little bit stronger. So, again, we're not sure about what happens all with the charges. If no link is created, so if you have a Machina portal that's in an area that there's not a whole lot of other unclaimed portals, and again, it doesn't link very far. So they don't, if it's a level 3 or a level 5 Machina portal, it does not link out to the range of a level 5 portal as we have it. It's about the same as a level 2 portal maybe, maybe a level 3. So they don't link out too far, but if it does link, those links are different from our links. So a Machina portal can link and cross an Enlightened link. It can cross a Resistance link. But an Enlightened link or Resistance link cannot cross a Machina portal link. So if you have them in a cluster, and that's where we're finding them kind of in clusters, as we'll see, and they've thrown out a bunch of links, and you're trying to get a link through there for an operation or something, you're probably going to have to take them out. So in a way, they kind of look like they're using mods, but they don't have mods. Let's take a look at one. This is a level 1, and the person is attacking it. So you might also hear something a little bit different. And whenever they attack, as you can see, they hit really hard. And we'll talk more about that. So let's take a look at this agent. Try some cracker on it.
XMP.
Level 8. Down to 0.
96% drained. XM reserves. 40%.
It's a little different. Again, you don't hear a whole lot in level 1. You start to listen to the level 8, so you'll hear the difference. You see that? It's just not letting him do a whole lot. And then again, there's all the ones.
reserves.
This one's a little bit different in
40%.
that it's a single Machina portal, and there is one that's nearby it, but it's in an area that has a lot of, in this case, enlightened portals around it. So it doesn't really have a chance to spread, not so much because it's boxed in by links, but because there's not a lot of non-connected portals.
XM reserves. Critical. XM.
Try to
Drain.
another hack it.
Scanner.
Yeah.
Offline. You've been hit.
So,
40%.
yeah,
Drained.
you're going to
XM.
hack them.
Acquired. XM reserves. Online.
Make sure you got
Scanner.
charge.
Online. Good work. XM reserves. 70%.
So,
XM reserves. 70%.
Again, they have that crystal in the center of the portal. The higher level ones have a larger crystal. They have a different sound. The light resistance is we'll hear when we get to the 8. Some say that sound is like a heartbeat. Some say they hear a clicking noise. So let's take a look at a level 8. Now, you'll notice that if you look at the picture, the level 8 Machina portal, the crystal in the middle is quite different. It's grown. There's, what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 crystals splitting off from that. Also, you have some crystalline structures from the base that are coming out. And as we see, again, it's going to have 8 resonators that are going to be level 8. The strange thing is that it doesn't take a whole lot to kill these portals, as we'll see here in a minute. So one blast will tend to do it. But let's take a look at somebody interacting with a level 8 Machina portal. Now you could hear there's a little bit of a different noise there. That's one of the noises that we hear, kind of like a, to me it kind of sounds like a mechanical bullfrog or something, but if you listen carefully, you'll hear that noise. There it is.
You've been hit. 99% heat rate.
And notice there you have a level 13 agent. One hit, one zap, down to 0.
Power cube. XMP. XMP.
And you also notice that the gear that he's getting out of it are lower level gear. Probably resonators and bursters up to level 3. We'll talk more about that. So we got level 3 bursters, level 2 resonators, level 1 power cube, a very rare, a rare heat sinks. And so you don't get a lot by way of gear that comes off of these unless you kill it. Then it's different. So the agent's going to charge up.
XM acquired. XM reserves. Online. Scanner.
Now he's going to try to take it out.
Good work.
Pretty sure.
Hypercube activated.
XM.
Well, we'll show you one that's taking it out. I had one that I was looking at a cluster nearby, about an hour away from me, so I went up to get that one. And this was very early on. This was like 2 days after we saw him, so we really didn't know what was going on. So I'll be documenting a lot as to what is going on, and taking out this is a level 3 Machina portal. At the portal that we think was the beginning of this cluster, this is at you notice I'm talking about a cluster, and if you look at the picture, and we'll see this when we get on the map, that particular portal has, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links coming out of it. So we're kind of thinking that that's probably the portal that started it all. This particular cluster had a total of, I believe it was 19 links in total. So it can send out a link to a nearby unclaimed portal. And in this particular place, it's a university that nobody's playing there, so there's a lot of portals that are not seeing any action. And then those portals that it links out, they also can raise up on level, and then they will send out links as well. Level 3, 20% charge. At the time, there should be 6 links in, 1 out. We're going to first try a glyph hack. Then we're going to try to charge it, upgrade it, and go from there. So I have a full charge. Again, at this time, nobody had glyph hacked them that we knew of, so we were recording and keeping track of what happened. Expect that this is going to drain me completely. And notice that at this time, I am a recursed level 13 agent with a full tank. Keep an eye on how much it hits me. Let's see. Here we go. And my hacking skill sucks. I only get 2 out of the 3. I forgot what the last one was. Now, look at the charge that I have left. So that took me down somewhere in the neighborhood of 84% from a full tank for a level 13. And that's 1 zap. So lower level agents, it could be very problematic because it's probably going to, empty your tank.
XMP resonator.
And again, not a whole lot by way of gear. Level 1 cube, level 3 resonator. I'm sorry, level 1 cube, level 1 resonator, level 1 burster. Not a complete drain, but very
Acquired
close
XM
to
reserves 16%.
Not a complete drain, but very close to a complete drain. Took quite a bit. Tank up a little bit.
Hypercube activated.
Might also notice that we're not hearing that sound that we heard on the level 8 portal. So we don't have a real clue as to what's going on behind the scenes as part of the
XM reserves 100%.
Next, we're just going to try to charge it, see if we can charge it, which I doubt we can. Nope, enemy portal, which probably means we can't deploy enemy portal. Can't upgrade. So the first attack we're going to do is with an Ultra Strike. That way we don't get anything that's around. We're going to try to get right into the middle of it. Throw off. We wanted to see how it responded if you didn't take it out with 1 blow, because as we'll see, 1 good blast from an L8 burster is enough to take out a number of them. 1 L8 Ultra Strike. Here we go.
Hit 1% drain.
Result. And you notice that it did take out half of them, and there are a couple of them. One of them there, it looks like it may be a little bit lower than the other ones. But again, they all seem to hold about the same charge. Didn't quite take it out. So we're going to go with another Ultra Strike again.
Or under attack 1% drain. Resonator destroyed.
Drift just moved me around a little bit. One more time. I'm just doing this so I don't hit the splash or anything else.
Or under attack 1% drain. Resonator destroyed.
Now you notice that whenever it's taken out, that it looks like the resonators just drop wherever they happen to be, wherever they were deployed out the range. And we'll go through what all the other stuff is.
Resonator destroyed.
There's a ghost link that's left. What do we got? L3 resonator, L3 resonator. We're going to go ahead and acquire
Resonator
those.
acquired.
Portal shield, common portal shield.
Shield acquired.
Key to Pemberton Hall. So it's. And I don't know why we didn't think about keys. Usually when you link, of course, you have to have a key to that portal. So we're not sure exactly how they harvest keys. But they'll have keys to the, well, it seems to drop the keys to the portals that it's linked in that are unclaimed neutral portals. It also has keys for itself, which could be an indication of how many portals linked into it and how many linked out. But that doesn't seem to work out here because we got a lot of keys of this portal, and I think there was only one coming in.
Retaining keys.
Portal key acquired.
To all of the places that it was
Resonator
linked to.
acquired.
Did not expect to see keys.
Resonator acquired. Resonator acquired. Resonator acquired.
Force amp.
Force amp acquired.
Resonator. And the resonators
Resonator
are about
acquired.
out wherever they would have been when they were deployed, so they drop
Resonator
straight down.
acquired.
Turret.
Turret acquired.
Bunch of keys.
That particular key is a key for that particular portal that I attacked and had the L3 Machina portal on it. So it drops keys of its own.
Key to this portal.
Portal key acquired.
Resonator.
Resonator
We also
acquired.
don't know whether I just picked up a bunch of infected
Portal key
gear.
acquired.
We don't know that yet.
There's two here. So
Portal
I
key
think every
acquired.
key. There's one there.
I think I leave
So
one,
I think every link that it had, it dropped a key.
one item behind.
Portal key acquired.
And we're going to go ahead and deploy this.
Resonator deployed.
That's another thing about if you kill them, if you take them out, you probably want them to go away. If you want them to go away, you need to claim that portal because as far as we can see, they do not reclaim a portal that has been claimed by Enlightened or Resistance. But if you get into a cluster and you take out some of them, some people are kind of calling that pruning the cluster. They will come back, and they tend to come back hard and fast. So there's some differing camps. Mostly Resistance players, again, not all, but most Resistance players feel we need to get rid of them. They're a threat. Out they go. Many Enlightened players are thinking this is new. We need to embrace it. We need to foster it. So the way that they want to foster its growth is that they will prune away some of the things that are on the outside edges, leaving that main one that everything's linked out from to go out and do it again. So if you want rid of them, deploy.
Resonator deployed. Portal online. Good work.
And we'll see here in a minute how easy it is to kill off a bunch of them.
Resonator deployed.
I'm going to deploy kind of. I put 2 8s on it.
Resonator
Again, I could
deployed.
get away with the 2 8s because it was a bonus
Resonator
time
deployed.
for the 10th anniversary.
And I'm going to try a link from this portal. No link.
And I had the keys to links in both directions, both down, which would be south, and to the left, sort of, which would be the west. And I couldn't do it because the Machina links were in the way.
So, yes, their links are blocking our outgoing links. Okay. Now we're just going to fire off L8s, take the rest of the stuff out.
And you can see that one L8 took out 4, 5, maybe 6 Machina portals.
Resonator destroyed.
And lots of gear on the ground.
You see, didn't take much to take them all out. I'm going to leave the litter on the ground. We're going to look at that to see if that degrades. All right, maybe a little more later.
And there was some people that were thinking that the items that were left behind by the Machina portals didn't decay. They might be on a little different decay cycle, but they do eventually decay and go away. So if you take a look at the loot that you get quite a bit. But again, it's low-level stuff, and you, as far as we know, you don't ever see anything like a virus or an E091 or anything like that. It's pretty much the same stuff. And when they show up if you have one of the keys and it's in your inventory, it will show up as a red, and you can see that it has the lower charge on it. So they do tend to show up in clusters. Those clusters usually start with one, and then it will spread out. So there was a lot of concerns at the beginning about how are these things going to spread, especially when we started to look at Moscow. Now, Moscow was a special deal because right now, because of the Ukrainian war and other things, there's not many people in Moscow that are playing Ingress. So you have a lot of portals that are unclaimed and very few agents that are playing. So as you can see, there was quite a bit of Machina portals and clusters that showed up. And I believe this was just 2 days, maybe just 2 days after we first saw them. Now, in the time since then, in about a week, we have seen some of those die off. But there are still some portals there because of, they can spread. So one portal, usually when it started, it would be an L1, and then over time it may get more charge, and then it creates a link and levels up. We have seen portals with up to 19 outgoing links with no link amps or anything to allow it to do that. Again, those links tend to be shorter, maybe level 2, level 3 at most in range, no matter what level the portal is. Links are always to what was a neutral and unclaimed portal. And the areas that have a lot of unclaimed portals seem to link more often. So if you got a high amount of MU or people and a lot of unclaimed links, as we kind of have right now with Moscow, you're going to see it spread. Those links seem to happen, and level up seems to happen probably within 24 hours. Some people theorize that it happens with every 5 hours, not on a checkpoint, but midpoint through the checkpoint. We still don't have an exact time. They don't follow those typical linking rules. So they can cross the Enlightened and Resistance links. Our links cannot cross theirs. And on the map, they're usually going to show up as an unclaimed link. So it'll be a little different color. It might be red. It just depends upon what tool you're using. And that tap hack, that's just substantial damage, as I said. So in my example that I had earlier, it's a level 13 agent hacking a level 3 Machina portal. I went from 17,500 XM down to 2,861. So it took out 84% of my total with one zap. So again, they do spread. Here's an example of one of the portals. And so this was at 126 on the 13th. That one cluster had an L2 and a couple other ones that were L1s that were split off of it. So at that particular time, there's only 6 portals. Then 741 on the next day, it had gone to 14 portals. And so the one at the hub, the main one, went up to L3. Then there's a couple L2s split off and some L1s. So they do some spreading out, and that's the concern. Are they the enemy? Do we have to cut them back completely? Some Machina don't spread. If there's very few neutral portals, we don't know exactly why they do choose to go or not. And again, we're not sure about how long those freestanding, those single Machina portals will last. We've seen some of them stay for a week. We've seen some of them gone. And they are keeping some stats. So if you look at your stats and if you happen to come across a Machina portal and interact with it, you might see Machina links destroyed, Machina resonators destroyed, and Machina portals neutralized. So in my case, I neutralized 19 of them, and I almost missed 3. I was on my way out of town, and I happened to catch them out of the side of my eye, so I had to go back and get those 3. So I got 19 portals, which makes 152 resonators when they're all destroyed. Links 18. So what does that mean in the future? We don't know. We don't know whether that's a badge or whether it's going to be some payoff. So a lot of the unknown, but we did tell you what we do know about the unknown. So I hope you get out of the field, find some of those Machina or Red Faction portals, and let me know what's going on. I hope to see you in the field soon. So long, agents.